Hello everyone, I'm Sajal Bharadwaj and welcome to Code Brains. I'm back with yet another installation video. And don't worry, it's not gonna be same as the previous installation videos, as in where I'm just installing and just fine, it's videos getting over. No, in this one, we'll be going through elements of Adobe XD as well as I'll be demonstrating you how to create a UI. So without any further ado, let's get started. Go to your favorite browser. In my case, I'll be using Mozilla Firefox. After going to the browser, in the search bar, type in Adobe XD. And you can go to the first site, but since it's an ad, I won't be going on the first one. I'll be clicking on the second link. And it takes you to the installation page. Here you can see start for free. Well, if you are a free, if you use free softwares like me, click on start for free, or if you can afford the actual version, then go for the paid one. I'll be going for the free version. And it will take you to the download page. After loading for a few seconds, depending on your network speed, you will get a pop-up like this. And also that depends on your browser, which one you're using. You'll get a download pop-up somewhat like this. It should be pretty much similar. So you can save the file. It's almost 3 MB, 3.1. You can just take it as 3. It should be downloaded within seconds. Again, depending on your network speed. Then probably it should have been downloaded in your downloads folder, but if you have changed the location, then go there and just pick up the file. Here's my download folder and here is the Adobe XD setup. I just need to double click or press enter and the installation should start. Give it a few seconds and it should probably load up. So this is how the installation setup looks like. After loading for a few seconds, you should get an interface similar to this, and all you have to do is press on continue and your installation should begin. Since I have already installed XD, I won't be doing it. I'll just close the setup. So just give it some time for installation, and once it's done, we'll just jump into the interface, as in the application. So after installation, you will get the Adobe XD application over here. You just need to double click and it will open up. After opening, the interface will be somewhat like this. So this is your home screen where this part is your recent designs, what you were working on. And these are the templates which you'll be choosing, and we'll come on it a bit later. Starting off from the left side, this is the home screen as you can see. Next one is Learn. This option basically gives you many tutorials from Adobe XD itself. There'll be various of them and there'll be various platforms on which they are uploaded. So whatever you want to learn, you can just explore, click on them and you'll be taken to the page. Next one, we have Cloud Documents. Cloud Documents, as in whatever you're working, as you can see, it shows my previous work. It has been stored to Adobe Cloud. By default, if you have installed XD from their official site, your works will be automatically saved on their platform. Next is Shared with You. Whatever you are working on, if you want to collaborate it with your friends or anyone you want, you can share it from here and it will also show that what you are sharing. Deleted, as the name suggests, deleted work. Whatever you are deleting, of course it gets deleted, but Adobe Cloud keeps it temporarily for a few days so that if you want to restore it later, you can access it from here. Next is Manage Links. If you click on it, you'll be taken to the browser, and which basically takes you to the cloud platform where you can see what were the links or what were the work you were sharing, and you can actually manage from there. As in managing means giving the read-only rights, write-only rights, or both the rights. I hope you are getting it. If you have any doubts, please pitch in. So that was managing links. Next, we have On Your Computer. On Your Computer basically means if you are not saving it in your cloud and you are saving it in your device, then you can access it from this tab. And you will get 3 options. Here you can see it's PSD or AI, Sketch and XD. PSD or AI as in Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. When you are working on those software, of course you export your images or the designs, but you also have their source file as in .pst files and .ai files. Those you can just click over here and open those, and you can access them in your XD and design it further. Sketch is basically many sketching platforms are there. If you are doing on that, those extension files can be opened from this sketch option. And XD, of course, .xd files. That's what we are doing over here. So I won't be opening as I don't have any files right now in my system. Now let's come back to home. This is your home platform, and here you have three basic templates. First one is for phones and tablets, second one is for websites, and third one is for Instagram stories. I don't need to explain it any further, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Next, you have custom size. If you're not happy with the templates provided by XD or Adobe, you can just give in your own height and width for the artboard and you can work along. Now we'll be jumping on phone template, as I'll be showing you a demonstration later on phone itself. That's why we'll be working on phone. Once you click over here, you will get options to choose templates of many options. You can either go for iPhones or Google Pixel. I will go for Google Pixel 5. Once you click on the template, this is the basic UI you'll get around which you'll be working. I'll maximize the screen, and you can see this is my artboard. So let's get it on center. There are many things. Over here you can see hamburger icon, there are many options. There's a topmost options, here you have toolboxes, and here you have attributes for the same. We'll be covering it step by step, starting off with the leftmost corner, that's toolboxes. By default, when you open XD, as in the artboard, or when you select a template, you'll be on your select tool, which basically helps you select things, move around, resize, and resize. That's what it does. Next is rectangle. Everyone of you know what rectangle is, a basic shape. So once you're freehand, you can create a rectangle. If you want to make a square, just hold down shift and draw the same, you'll get a square. Next, we'll be jumping on circle. That's basically ellipse. And again, in this, if you draw freehand, you'll get an oval. And if you hold shift and do so, you'll get a perfect symmetrical circle. Next, we have polygons. Polygons, as every one of you know, that it's of multiple lines, multiple shapes. By default, it will be on triangle, and if you want to increase the corners, as in the shape, you can just tap up arrow or down arrow to increase the corners, so that you get various shapes and sizes. Next, you have line. I don't need to explain what line is. When you just click on line, you'll get free hand to draw line of any size or wherever you want to go, any angle. But if you hold down shift, it will go in particular angle, as in 45 degrees. That's pretty handy tool. Next, we have pen. If you have worked around with Adobe products, as in Photoshop or Illustrator, you pretty much know what a pen tool is. It's a freehand tool to draw the desired shape, whatever you like. And as you can see, on each click, this line doesn't actually go, it's still there. It is waiting for me to close a shape. Once I click on it, it will go. But there is also one more thing, that you can leave your shape open-ended. This, what you're seeing over here, is a close-ended shape, and if you want an open-ended shape, you can just make whatever you like. And if you want to get rid of this following line, you can just press escape in your keyboard, and it will just leave off. But this is called open-ended shape. Next, we have text. Pretty self-explanatory that what a text is. You can add whatever text you like. You just need to click on the artboard and you can start typing. You can just type in whatever you want, and that will go according to what you are trying to design. Next, you have artboard selection. As I had already told you in the starting when we were on home screen, that you get basic templates of phone, tablets, websites, and Instagram stories. From here also you can get a template. As you can see, since I've clicked on artboard selection, on the rightmost place we have selections of phone and many more things. So if you want to make another artboard, you can just select a template from here and you will get another one. Since I don't want it right now, I'll just delete this one. And if you are not happy with the templates on the right side, you can manually create one. That's not a problem, that's totally up to you. Now, this one over here, you can see a magnifying glass. Basically, the name suggests you can magnify your artboard and go for the zoom in. Now we are done with the toolbar on the left. On the bottom left, what you can see is there are three options. These are libraries. As in here, you can select assets. As in, if you're designing something and you like that shape or the particular design very much, then you can save it in your components or assets, which will help, which is stored and you'll be able to access it later. Next, we have a layer panel where all your works are shown here. By default, it is showing you two artboards, and if I click on the first one, it will show me one sec. It will show me what all is there inside. Just need to double click. So each and every element which I used over here, as in square, rectangle, it's shown here. So everything will be here, and what you can do is you can rename it accordingly, as in what you're trying to do or what that thing is trying to portray. So that, and the next one, you have plugins. Plugin is the important aspect of Adobe XD. You can download many plugins from their official site, and it will help you to make your design more elegant and more vibrant. So as in, you can see many plugins over here. I'll just download one and show you how it's done. Uh, this one looks fine. I'll just install it. Okay, as you can see, it's installed and it's been loaded on my plugin screen. So that was everything on the left side. These things which you can see over here as in prototype and share, that will be covering up later when I'll be showing you the as in the design, when I'll be designing the UI for you guys. Coming on the rightmost corner, as you can see, when I click on elements, any element for that matter, you get many options. These are pretty much same for each and every one of them, as in for square, for rectangle, polygon, pen, circle, ellipse, you have same thing. So I'll be covering each one of them individually. On the topmost corner, you can see these are align tools, and the first one is the top align, as in it will whatever element is selected, it will push it up so that it is on the topmost level. Next, you have center. It will place the element in the center of your artboard. Then we have bottom align. As the name suggests, it will push the element to the bottommost level of your artboard. Next, we have left align, center align, and right align. And this center align is pretty special, as in it doesn't exactly put your element in the center of the artboard, but it's puts in center of the axis which your element is in. As in, say currently it's on x-axis, so it will put in center of x-axis. No matter where it is, as in say if I drag it over here, it will just put it in center. It doesn't see that it's in center of artboard or whatever. It just sees the axis and it centralizes the element according to that. Next, we have repeat grids. I will show you what that is. Select your element, click on repeat grids, and you'll get these two options. If I increase, elements will be copied with equalized padding in between. And by default, when you are repeat gridding your elements, it will be grouped. What I mean by that is, if you come to your layer panel, it shows over here that both of all the things are grouped and it's termed as one. But if you don't want them to be grouped, what you can do is right click on the element from the layer panel, of course, and you can just click on ungroup grid. So each and every element will become an independent element and you can move it separately, which you couldn't have done while it was grouped in the grid. It would move along with it. That's what is repeat grid. Next, we have components that I'll be covering later. Now we come to transform. As you can see, I can move these things and I can also resize. But while doing so, the values over here also increases. So that's basically up to you how you want to resize or transform your elements. Either you can drag and drop, move it while selecting and resize, as I had already mentioned that what select tool does. Or if you are a keyboard person, then you can just come over here and resize your elements with the numbers, as in however you want. As you can see, this is width and this is height. It gets resized, and this is x and y, as in the position of the element. As I mentioned, you can move it, you can place wherever you like, but you can also change the values from here and it will move accordingly. Say if I type in 23, it will move towards left. Similarly, on y-axis, if I say 400, it will move down. Depending on what you're designing and how you want to place your elements, you can use these. And finally, we have this rotation, that is changing the angle, which you won't be able to see in circle as they are pretty much same. I'll be doing it in the rectangle, and let it be like 90 degrees. It just moves off. So that basically is your rotation option. Next, we come to these important things. First off is these two things are for flipping. This is flip horizontal and this is for vertical flip. Let me show you one thing what I mean by flip. These options, if you don't know what I did right now, these four circles if you are seeing over here, these are used to give the corner radius, as in make it curved, make it rounded. And I will tell you what flip is. If I do it vertical flip, it just changes. As you can see, it was first upwards and now it's downwards. And for the horizontal flip, I'll be using this. It basically flips the element whatever you are using. It helps you actually rather than rotating 180 degrees, you can just flip it and it will come as you like. It's pretty amazing tool. Next, we have scrolling. These three options are for horizontal scrolling, vertical scrolling, and both simultaneously. Scrolling as in while you're testing your or just say you're using your phone, say Amazon Prime or Netflix, so you basically do vertical scroll to see various types of movies or videos. And there's also a horizontal scroll which you do to see the categories in a particular thing. That's what is vertical scroll for, going up and down. As if I just hover over here, you can see the example what a scroll is. That was horizontal scroll and this is vertical scroll. So these two are for individual, as in if you want to just give horizontal scroll, you can opt for this. If you want to just place vertical scroll, you can opt this. And if you want both the scroll to be there, you can opt for this. So that's basically your scrolling. Next, we have this checkbox which basically says fix position while scrolling. That is, just take an example of Netflix again. And while you're scrolling, everything goes along with it. If you're scrolling up, it goes up. If you're scrolling down, it goes down. But if you check this fixed position for a particular element and then you're trying to scroll, the particular element will not move. It will stay right there. Though the background and other movies or the thumbnails will move according to the scroll which you're doing, that is vertical or horizontal, that particular element will just stay right there. So that's what fixed position when scrolling does. Next, we come to layout. As the fixed scrolling does, responsive resize, it's another major aspect of your designing. Responsive resize, if you are into web development, you pretty much know what that is. Responsiveness is a major aspect of development, whether it be Android development, iOS development, or web development. Basically, if you are resizing, as in zooming in or zooming out, that time your responsive resize plays a major role. If your elements are there and while you are zooming in, it doesn't resize automatically or properly, it will look really odd. So what responsive resize does is, while you are trying to zoom in or zoom out, those elements in that or the content of your artboard or basically the screen, it also resizes according with your zoom level, so that it looks elegant and better. It doesn't look odd. That is, you're zooming in but the element just stays there. That would really look odd. That's what your responsive resize helps you to do. And in this, you have two options, that is auto and manual. Auto, that is, it will automatically resize itself and you don't need to do anything to that element. But if you choose manual, you get these options, that how that particular element is to be resized. You can choose two at a time, but as you can see over here, these two are selected. That's why I get only options of two sides to be resized. If I just uncheck these, then I can select all of them. That basically is your auto resizing. So rather than that, I prefer auto. So it's totally up to you. Next, we come to appearance. And the first thing in appearance we have is opacity. If you guys don't know what opacity is, that is visibility of your element. If I decrease it, you can see the borders of the element is just fading off. And that actually is an amazing tool and helps you create your design much better while you are doing. According to the design which you want to make, it will give a very great and appealing look to it. So opacity is basically that. Next we have blend modes. There are many options in it, and going over each and every one of it is way beyond the scope of this webinar. So if you want to learn about it, you can just Google it, and you pretty much get all the information on that. Next we have fill and borders. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Fill is basically giving the colors to your elements or to the thing which you have selected. And next is border. If you are seeing this line that is for the element, it's black, that is your border. If you don't want the border to be shown, you can just uncheck it and it will just disappear. Basically it becomes white, or it disappears. Basically its opacity is done to 0, so that you won't be able to see it, only the element is seen. But since I haven't given the color to that particular oval, you are not able to see it exactly. It's basically like it's only artboard and there's only one circle in it. But the guide actually helps you to identify that yes, there is an element. For now I do want the borders, as I want to show you something. You have various options over here. Size is basically size of your border, that is thickness. You can increase it to how much ever you want, again depending on what you are trying to make. Say I give 5 and the border size increases. It actually gives a very good look. Again, it comes to what you are trying to show. Next you have dash and gap. What is dash? Let's say I given the value 10. That makes your border, instead of solid border, a dashed border. And the gaps which you are seeing in middle, it's equal, very much symmetrical. And that's what this gap option over here is trying to show you. It is 10. So there's a gap of 10 between each and every dash. You can actually increase from here, say 20, and the dash will increase. Next we have these options which you can, again it's beyond the scope of this webinar. If I go for each and every element, it will take a lot of time. So I request you guys, after the webinar, please if you are interested, do find out about it and see what each and every one of them does. Next we have shadow. If we click on shadow, I guess you can see that there is a shadowish look below the circle. And you get pretty much options of increasing the size, as in the blurriness towards the axis, how much shadow you want. Say I give 20 on the x-axis, it becomes 20, and y, if I say like 25, it increases. So depending on how you want the shadow to be, you can just give in the values and play around with it to see how your element looks after giving the shadow. And the next one is blurriness of the shadow. Basically actually gives a pretty elegant look and vibrant look. There's one more thing in option which I forgot to mention, that is color of the shadow. Usually shadow is, say what, gray, but you can actually give them colors so that it looks good. If I give red, I know it's not visible much as I have given the blurriness too much. Let's say if I reduce it, probably you'll be able to see it much better. Let's say 25. Yeah, it's visible now. And one more thing, on shadow here is you get opacity option. You can also increase it to see the shadow level. It will be much bright, but actually it doesn't give much better look. Again, it also depends on what you're trying to show. And finally we have background blur. Background blur, basically whatever element you have selected and it has a background below, that will get blurred out. And in this you also have one more option, as in object blur. The object itself gets blurred, and you can also increase the amount of blurriness you want to show. So that's what your background blur and object blur does. The next option which you have over here is mark to export. Well, of course, when you are designing something, you're not designing to just show like let it be there. You're going to download the PNG version or SVG version according to what you want to do with that design. So you have to export your design, and that's what this does. While you are exporting, you can actually export only the artboard or only a particular element from the artboard. So that's what this option does, that if you select this and you're trying to export only the elements, then this element will get exported out. With that, I cover all the applications of the tools from here. So if you guys have... Okay, so guys, now let's get on to the demonstration. But before jumping to the XD, let me just show you exactly what we'll be doing today. This is the design which I came up with few days back. We'll be doing the exact same thing. Yes, exact same thing, but we'll try to change, like add few extra things what I have done in this one. So to start, just open up your XD and choose a template from the mobile designs. I'll be going with Google Pixel 5 as I had already worked with that and showed you the elements of XD in Google Pixel Artboard. So after clicking, this will be your artboard, and as we have seen the design, first thing is a rectangle. So you can either click on the rectangle from the left, or you can just press R from your keyboard. That's a shortcut for rectangle. So create one, and after doing so, what we need to do is resize it. So to select to do any changes in the rectangle or the elements, as I have already told you in the previous session, that we need to use the select tool. So for that, you can either click on select tool, or you can just press V. That's a shortcut to go to the select tool, and then we'll just rearrange the rectangle and resize it accordingly, however you want. After doing so, we'll remove the borders and we'll give it a color, say black. No, let's go with a bit gray. That's dark gray. Yeah. After doing that, as we had seen in the design that the bottom corners were rounded, so we'll just change the radius. For that, just scroll down from the right, and here is the option to change the radius of the corners. So by default, it will be selected on all. So if you just change the radius, all the sides will get reduced, as in all the sides will become rounded. But we don't want that for now. So we'll just change it back to normal and then select this one. If you select this, you'll have four options. That is to choose either of the corner radius that you want to do. So for this one, we need both. Okay, not both, only the bottom left. So that's, I guess, this one. As you can see, if I click on either one of them, on the actual thing over here, you get the guide. As you can see, if I click here, it shows top right. So you can just click on it for the reference, and it will show you that which one exactly will be changing. So I'll change the bottom left and say I'll go with 80. Then after doing this, we need two more rectangles. So I'll just create one, and we'll go to select tool again using B, then press Alt and hold, then just create a duplicate of that rectangle. Next, we'll just make it symmetrical, because currently it's 85 and 87. So we'll make it like 80 and height as well. Similarly, we'll do with the other one. We'll make it 80 and 80. Now we'll just change the border corner radius of one of the rectangles, that is top right, and we'll make it 80. So top right should be this one. No, this. We'll change it to 80. We'll bring it forward and place it on top of the other rectangle. Okay, now we'll select all of them, both of them, and over here, these are the options. Like, these are few of the options which I exactly didn't mention in the previous session, as because I was just showing the individual elements, and these will only be these options will only get active when you have selected multiple elements. So since I've selected both of them, you get this option, say add, subtract, union, and etc. Well, you'll get to know about each one of them once you start working with XD and start playing along. So currently we need subtract, so we'll use this. What happens is I got the bottom part got subtracted and the top part is left, and that's exactly what we wanted. So now I'll just place it over here, remove the borders, and fill in the color same as that of this. So we got what we wanted, but if you can see, there is a gap or there's a line in middle. We don't want that. So now what we'll do, we'll unify this area as well as this rectangle. So for that, we'll need to click on add. Once we do that, squish part or the line gets removed. So we are done with the top part. Next, we require one more rectangle, as in for the toolboxes, that's play, next, and previous buttons. I guess this much size should be enough, but we don't want it here. We'll just move it
on top and increase the height. This much should be fine. But if it's like this, there's no point of making this one. What we need to do is move it back. So you can do it with two ways. Right click on the rectangle, go to the arrange option and send to back, or you can use the option over here, that is shift control and square bracket, that is left square bracket. Click on that and it goes back. So apparently we are able to make the difference because of the borders, but if I remove the border we won't be able to identify that if there is a rectangle or not. So let me just change the color so that it's a bit highlighted and it doesn't exactly look odd. Okay, wait, rather than changing the color of this rectangle, why not change the color of the artboard itself? That would give much better look to our UI. So say around bit grayish, yeah, that should be fine. Now let's change our rectangle, that is the toolbox rectangle, back to white. That should be fine. And now let's remove the border, make it rounded, only the bottom parts, say 80, and this one 80 as well. That looks good, but it will look much better if we add shadow. So let's add shadow. Seems like it didn't get applied. Okay, shadow. Yeah, that looks amazing. Now toolbox is done, but if you would have remembered, what was there in the design which I showed you earlier was that there was one more rectangle and lyrics was written on it. So basically a lyrical banner. So what we can do is create another rectangle and make the changes, or what we can do is just make the duplicate of this one, change the height, say around this much, and then we can just flip it. There you go, it's done. This much gap I'm not ready to go with, so I'll just increase the size of the toolbox. Yeah, that should be fine. So the basic template is ready. Now we need to put the elements inside. So let's start with the play button. For that we need the ellipse. So again, you can do it with two options, that is click on the ellipse or just press E, that's the shortcut for ellipse. Now let's create a play button, remove the borders and add colors, say around, yeah, that actually looks good. Yeah, that does look good. Okay, that's fine, but seems a bit like it's big. Let's just reduce the size to say 85 and height as well. Okay, that's 80, I wanted 85. Now that seems good. Now let's just place it in center, and we need a triangle in middle so that it actually looks like a play button. Hold down shift and make a symmetrical triangle. According like your wish, or the size totally depends on you, however you like it. This much seems fine for me, and I'll just change the angle, that is I'll rotate it 90 degrees and we'll place it in the middle of the ellipse. Okay, that seems fine. Now we can remove the border and the play button looks good. Okay, and that's with the play button. But in the music player we actually need next button as well as previous button, as you would have seen in the design which I showed you before starting the demonstration. So we can just make duplicates of it. If you would remember, it was holding down Alt and just moving the element. So it's actually white, so we're not able to see it. So we'll just remove fill. Okay, no, we do need fill. So instead of white, we just make it black. Yeah, that seems fine. And next, what we can do to make it more elegant is just make it rounded. Say around 5, yeah, around 3 should be fine. Okay, that seems fine. Now only one triangle is not actually looking good, so what we can do is make one more and just place it just below it. Okay, that looks better. Now what we can do is copy both of them. Before that, If I want to select both of them, I need to click, hold and drag. But as you can see, I am accidentally selecting the rectangle below it. That's basically the framework for the tools. So if you don't want to move it, what you can do is you can just lock from your layer panels, so that no matter what you try to do on the top part, nothing will happen on the below one. That is, this element will not move at all. You won't be able to make any changes. So since that's done, we can copy it easily and place it. Well, I did place it, but where did it go? Okay, so as you would remember that in my previous session I had told you that if you copy paste in XD, it gets pasted on top of the element. So if I move it, you can see it's right there. Now next button is done, you need previous button. So we'll just do horizontal flip. And that's it. We are done with the previous button as well. So next button, play button and previous button is done. Now we need is a progress bar. For that we'll be using line tool. We'll create a line, hold down shift and make a straight one. That one should be fine. Now let's increase the thickness, that's stroke, to say 3. Yeah, that seems fine. And another thing we need is one more line to show where exactly our music is, like the current position. So you can copy the line and paste it on top of it. That's basically what XD does. And then we can change the color to whatever you like. I'll be going with something orangish red. Okay, this color seems fine. Now I just place it backwards so that it actually seems like it's the progress bar rather than just a line. Next we need is an ellipse to actually pinpoint the location, which will give much better look to your music player. So hold down shift and make a small symmetrical ellipse. That seems good. Now you can do is remove the border and add in the colors. So I'll be using eyedropper tool. If you would have forgotten what eyedropper tool is, it basically helps you choose the color from the artboard or the designs you have currently, if you don't know the color code, that is. So I'll just choose and it will just choose the color and apply it to the element, and that's done. So we are done with progress bar as well. Now I would just lock this one as well. And one more thing, I would have mentioned grouping in my previous session when I was telling you about the elements. So basic shortcut is Ctrl+G, or what you can do is select few elements and come over here and right click, and then the next option is group. So by this you can group few elements, and what will happen is all these elements, previously they were individual elements, but now they are together. If you try to move either one of them, whatever is grouped along with it, they will move as well. So after grouping, what's important is you name your files, as in rename it, what exactly the group is, what exactly that group contains. That's the best practice in designing, no matter what you're using, that is Photoshop, Illustrator or XD, be it After Effects or Premiere Pro as well. It's best to rename your files, layers or whatever you're using. Okay, for some reason I'm not able to do it, I'll show you later. So okay, we are done with most of the things. Next we require is the image of the song that we'll be playing. The files you can download from anywhere you want. I already have few which I'll be placing. Now there's a magic I'll be showing. There's a rectangle on top where I want the image, and I have copied the, as in not exactly copied, I have dragged the image which I want to copy. So if I come on the top of the element and place it, it will just get automatically selected. That's what XD does for you. You don't need to exactly come over here, reshape it again and place it. You just need to place it on top of any element where you want to place your images. Next is the name of the song and the time exactly over the progress bar to show how long is the song and currently like at what position or what time your song is. For that we'll be using text tool. Click over here and we'll add like say 125. Yeah, that seems fine. But instead of regular, we'll make it bold and reduce the size to say, okay, it's not changing because it didn't select itself. Now let's make it bold and change the size to say 15. Okay, no, 24 is much better. Okay, that's with time. Now let's rearrange it. And we'll just duplicate this one on the right side for the final time count, as in how long is the song. We'll just come here, double click on the time, and we'll just change the time to say 3, but one can be like 2. That actually depends on how long the song is. We are just giving a rough estimate. I exactly don't know how long this song is. Now we'll be just adding the name of the song, and that's, I guess, Love Dose. Not Love Dose, Love Story. I have the document right over here, what I need to copy. So I'll just copy the contents. I did this so as to save the time, or if you want, you can just go to the net and just find out the name and everything, whatever you want to type in over here. Okay, that's actually placed in right place. I mean, the alignment is fine and I exactly don't need to change anything. I'll just move it in center and that's fine. Next, we need the lyrical panel. We need to do a few changes. That is, first off is the text. That is, I need to show what exactly this lyrical this panel will do. So I'll just type in lyrics, come out of it, arrange it in center, and next we need the arrow as a button, so that if we click on it, it comes up. Basic idea is that. So for that, we'll be using pen tool. You can again click on the pen tool or just use P as a shortcut and create one. I'll just click over here, hold down shift, and it will create a symmetrical line. I'll hold down escape so that the line following my cursor just gets off. Then I'll come over here and increase the thickness to say 3. Okay, what happened? 3. Now we'll just change the color. We'll use the eyedropper tool, come over here and use this orange. Come on, come to the center. Okay, yep. Okay, the button is done, but it will be more better, or it will look much appealing if we add shadow. And shadow can be of same color as that of the progress bar or as that of the button. We'll increase the opacity to say 25. And we'll choose the color from here. Okay, that looks good. So first page is done. One song is ready, and the next step is the lyrics. We'll just decrease the size of the artboard, and as I had mentioned earlier, you can hold down Alt and duplicate anything, as in even the artboard. So I'll duplicate this one and place it right below it. You can place wherever you want. I'll just place it below so that it's easier for me to handle it. Now next thing I want is the lyrics. So for that, I'll be increasing the layer panel and I'll make it come forward. If you don't know what I did, I just used the shortcut Control Shift right square brackets. That's the shortcut in Windows. If you use that, you can just make any element that's like below the other element come on top. So you can move it back and on top. That's what I did. Now next thing is the lyrics. So I'll be adding lyrics using the text tool. I'll just copy it over here, and since I already have the doc, I'll copy the lyrics and paste it over here. Okay, it has come, but it's way too big. So I'll just decrease the size to say 14. No, okay, 12 is much better. Okay, for some reason it just went off. We'll just do it again. Okay, it's of size 12 and To zoom in, as I had told you earlier, that we can use the shortcut that's Control plus, that is the plus button. It will just zoom in. We'll just align the lyrics, and our lyrics section is also done. The next thing what we have to do is, what I want to do is move this button down, and we can use vertical flip to show this is the down arrow button. So that, like, basic idea is if you click on it, the lyrical section will go down again and the musical section will come on top. Okay, we are done with two panels, as in two artboards. We'll do the same thing, like we'll copy the same thing and we'll just change the song and the lyrics. So this is the image, I'll copy it over here. This is the picture of Roar by Katy Perry. Yup, Katy Perry. We'll just copy the name and name of the song as well as the artist. We'll come over here, press Ctrl A to select all and Ctrl V, just copies off. It's actually placed in correct position. I won't do much changes, as I just need to give you basic idea of what's actually happening. So for that matter, I don't even need to change the lyrics, I'll let it be. And basically we are done with the UI. So designing part is done. The next thing what we need is prototyping. So as I had told you earlier that I'll demonstrate what's prototype later, but before that what I was going to forget right now is the component section. So what I'll do is ungroup it, then we'll go to the component section. As you can see, I have selected the triangle, that's the white triangle in the play button, and it's the default state. The default state is white. What we'll do is add a hover state, that is, if I just hover over the triangle, it will change the color. Well, there is no point of it adding for the mobile, as if you just click on the play button, it will play, and that's just for like brief 0.1 second, that is, if you press, it will change. But since we are doing it for the Windows, you'll get a basic idea of what exactly will be what exactly happens or what will happen. So currently we are on hover state right now. So what we'll do is we'll change this color to say blue or say orange. Well, for that matter, blue would look good. Yeah, that should be fine. Now we'll come back to the default state. Now let's prototype, and I'll show you what will happen once we hover over it. So for prototyping, these are the basic options on the right you get. That is the interaction panel, the trigger, as in what will cause the next event. Then you have the action, that is once you click or whatever trigger you have applied, once that happens, how will it move, as in transitioning, like going to the next stage, how will it go, like it will come from the left, or it will just come straight, or will come with a blur state with an animation or something like that. You get the gist of it. So we'll select this artboard. Okay, for that matter, first we'll do the next button. We'll select the next button and we'll say move it to this one. So basically what will happen, if you click on the next button, you will go to the next music. Now from here, I'll choose the previous button and go back to the love story artboard. This lyrics button, I will choose it and go to the lyrical section, and for this one I'll choose this. Okay, what I missed is changing the image from the second section. Okay, that basically does the thing, and this one also will collect right back to the main screen, and for this one, the main screen of the song. We are done with prototyping. Let's just see if it works properly. Okay, this is your main screen, as in the basically when you're listening to the song Love Story. This will be the UI front end, and as you can see, if I come to the triangle, as in the play button, it turns green. That's what was your component section. You can add any state, like say currently I just added hover state, whatever state comes in your mind or whatever you want to add the functionality, you can just add it off. That's what your component section does. Now let's click on the next button and see if it takes you to the song roar. Well, it does, and previous button works as well. Now coming to the lyrics button, it takes you to the lyrics of the song, that is Love Story, and we'll just check for the next song as well. Okay, it does take you. Since we did not change the lyrics, it is pretty much the same. So I guess you got the gist of it. That was the whole section of telling you the fundamentals of Adobe XD, as well as showing the demonstration of making a UI. So I hope you would have got the gist and feel of Adobe XD, how it works and how useful it is. For that matter, it's a lot of fun. So I hope you would have understood most of it, if not all.